deep in the heart of Central Texas, it's the Best of the Outdoors podcast. Brought to you by Texas Fish and Game Magazine, the voice of the Texas outdoor nation. I'm your humble host, Dustin Warncke, the outdoor success guy. So excited that you have taken the opportunity to download the show, stream it online, however you are listening. Thank you guys so much for doing so. Back with another episode. Last episode, it was a gear review, kind of rundown of stuff that I've been using in the field and on the water. And this one we're going to get with Jeff Stewart, who I interviewed, I think it was last year after Hurricane Harvey in 2017 in the fall, early fall, September timeframe or so. So it's been about a year since he's been on, now that we're in August and September's just right down the road. So just wanted to bring you some hope and inspiration in the Texas outdoor lifestyle and beyond. And I just got a lot of fun things going on here. My online course is available to you for a special price of $97 if you want to learn how to be successful in the outdoor industry, if you're trying to be a pro staff, if you're trying to start a business, anything like that in the outdoors, and you want to check out how I do what I do in the outdoors. I teach a whole course on that, about 5 to 6 hours, and that course is available through dustinsprojects.com. If you find me in social media, you will find that I've got some posts going on for giving away my new ebook for free, just for joining my mailing list. And you can do so by just going to dustinsprojects.com. Actually, find me in social media. Facebook's where I'm doing most of the posts that have to do with the free ebook, but I'm also on LinkedIn and Insta and so on and so forth. So the ebook is free for a limited time. Just sign up for my email list so I can keep you up to date on what I'm doing personally, and that does not cost you anything. It's 36 pages, so it's not a very long read. It's a lot of fun, short, fun read. And that's Achieving Success in the Outdoor Industry, my new ebook, and that is for sale, or you can download it for free just by joining our email list. And really appreciate you guys checking us out, and really just happy to be here in the summer, trying to stay cool in the middle of the heat. Lots of triple-digit days here in Texas. And I'm just constantly grinding through and trying to find good content for you guys. So what I wanted to do is have a spirited conversation today, and I had to bring Jeff Stewart because this guy can talk on just about anything with the outdoors, especially when it comes to hogs and hog hunting. He's indeed part of the Texas Hog Hunters Association, and we'll be running this podcast in their group here recently, or in the near future when this releases. So if you're listening there, thank you guys so much for doing so, and just a lot of fun. I wanted to also recommend you guys subscribe to our newsletter at fishgame.com, subscribe to our magazine. It is very low cost to do so in the digital format or the print format. And that's Texas Fish and Game at fishgame.com. You can just check out our social media stuff, what we're doing on Facebook. We've got about 60,000 followers there. And we also have a wide variety of newsletter content coming out 3 days a week through our blog at fishgame.com. And you can also subscribe to the magazine from fishgame.com. Anyway, without further ado, here's my interview with Mr. Jeff Stewart, one of our Texas Fish and Game contributors for our magazine, print magazine, as well as our blog at fishgame.com. And basically just a fantastic all-around outdoorsman and Second Amendment supporter, and just fun guy to talk to. You can check out his Facebook page, Alpha Dog Blades, and Alpha Dog is all one word. You can check out all the knives that he makes. He stayed up the other night, I think, until all night working on blades and making knives and stuff, and to order or whatever the case may be. But he makes knives out of really, really cool stuff. So anyway, I'm excited to have him back on. Please enjoy our interview, and thank you guys so much for listening. Here we go. Joining me on the phone, Mr. Jeff Stewart, Crypto Hulk Stewart. Am I saying that right? Jeff Crypto Hulk Stewart?
Yeah, all right.
My goodness, that's you. Wow. So I follow you a lot on Facebook, and you sell custom homemade knives on your Facebook page, and I'll let you give a shout out of that at the end of the show. And it's summertime. We're moving into the start of school. There are hogs to be hunted. There's ARs to be built. There's bow fishing stuff going on. What kind of stuff have you been up to lately, Jeff?
Biggest thing I've been up to lately, building AR-15s for people. Built a couple of chassis rifles. If people don't know what chassis rifles are, it's the latest craze of ultralight skeletonized tactical stocks on bolt-action rifles.
Yes.
Free flow sales, very accurate. I just love them.
They're like performance guns in a way, right, Jeff? Is that the best way to explain that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically chassis guns. Like you said, they're high performance guns. It's kind of like taking your dad's old Ford pickup and dropping some Krager SSTs on it and putting Holly 750, double pumper carb sitting on top of it or something like that. I mean, you put a really high quality optic on this. It's free floated barrel. You smooth up that action. The stock is more precision. You can add weight to these stocks.
Sure.
You can balance these stocks. You can just do so much with these stocks above and beyond your factory synthetic or wooden stock.
Yeah.
And you can really customize this thing and just make it whatever you want. And there's nothing wrong with the factory stocks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you got to change something.
Sure.
The fact a dead hog or a dead deer is just as dead with the factory stock as it is with a custom stock. But it allows the hunter or the shooter to really make their gun their own.
Sure.
And customize it just like your cars or just like your four-wheelers or anything else. You get to customize this thing and you get to make it yours.
Right.
And when you bring it out at a shooting competition or in the deer camp or whatever, when you bring it out and people are like, wow, that's pretty awesome. Same thing like with our AR-15s, we're able to put really awesome, skeletonized things on there.
Sure.
Or Cerakoted or, just whatever you want to do to these to just make them yours, make them personal. And it really, especially if you got kids and you're getting kids into the outdoors, these kids today, they're into something a little more flashy, instead of playing a video game or something, you break out a really tricked out AR and all of a sudden, instead of shooting something on the TV, they want to go out into the range and pull the trigger on some real ammo and learn some real gun safety.
Sure.
And get that quality time between parent and child that you don't get on the video game system.
Yeah, absolutely. And, then the neat thing about what you do with chassis rifles and ARs is there's so many things, customizable, personalized things that you can do with guns these days. But the cool thing about all that is really with both sets of guns, what you're able to do of rifles is basically you're able to, make them ring out the best performance from each one of them. Is that right?
Exactly. I've taken rifles that people have brought to me and said, man, at 100 yards, the best I can get out of this gun is, like a 3-inch group.
Right.
And I'm going, wow, I literally can take a gun that someone has bought, one of your economy platform guns that people buy. They bring them to me. It's a, $250, $300 gun. And I will guarantee you, I can't guarantee you a 1 minute of angle gun, but I guarantee you that I can tighten that bad boy up to where you can kill anything you want to out to 250, 300 yards if you have the skills to do that.
Right.
The right angle, the right scope.
Sure.
It's that free floating that barrel
Sure.
and making sure that there's any pressure in different places. Sometimes it's as much as, running a few hundred patches up and down a barrel. I've seen rifles that have come into me that during the rifling process, they left burrs.
Yeah. I've seen that too,
barrel.
as a matter of fact. Yeah, during the manufacturing process. Yep, exactly.
That's why I tell, a lot of people, if you buy a gun and you go sight it in and you shoot 5-6 shells out of it, cartridges, and you get it, oh man, I'm dead on.
Yep.
That you go out there next week and you shoot at a deer and you can't hit that deer and you're going, man, somebody dropped my gun or I bumped my gun. Not necessarily, because you haven't fired enough ammunition through this gun to break the barrel in. You have not shot it enough if there are burrs in there to kind of smooth that up, do anything. So, I try to tell everybody if they bring me a brand new gun, bring me a minimum of 40, 50 rounds of ammunition.
Right, to really break it in. Yeah, sure, I get that. Oh, that's fantastic.
And with these guns, chassis guns and the ARs, you're just able to do so much more with them. Most of the time, your triggers are, especially with an AR, it's just a drop-in trigger. You can go to a 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever pound trigger from a 12-pound factory trigger in a matter of minutes. And people are like, well, what's the big deal? I've killed a lot of deer with my factory trigger, and but the thing is, if you shot a heavy trigger forever, you're probably used to it. You've killed deer. Granted, I mean, I've killed lots of deer with shotguns and everything else that had heavy triggers. Right. Really wasn't that big a deal. But whenever I got into gunsmithing and I was able to take my old Remington 700 and I was able to drop a new trigger in there, because those 700s were notorious about going off. Either that or you have a Remington moment, as it's called in the military, where you pull the trigger, nothing happens. And you're just sitting there, what do you do?
What happened? Yeah.
So drop a new trigger in there, and all of a sudden you're able to customize it and get I'm the kind of guy, I like about a 2-pound trigger.
Yeah.
Maybe dangerous for some people, but me, the level of skill that I have, about 2 pounds is what I like.
Sure.
And I can take a gun that just honestly hasn't got a whole lot of accuracy in it, and just by simply changing out the trigger, tighten that group up sometimes as much as a half an inch.
Sure. No, and there are two trigger companies that come to mind that I've had personal experience with, and that's CMC Triggers, who just ran with us in the August issue of Texas Fish and Game, and ran an ad with us, and then Timney Triggers. And I was at SHOT Show this year testing out some of the Timney AR triggers, which are just incredibly, smooth and light and nimble, and just, a joy to shoot. So are you seeing the same kind of things?
Oh yeah. I just actually traded one of my custom knives, real nice skinning knife, the other day for a custom trigger for one of my ARs from a gentleman, and it was one of the CMMGs, I think is what it was.
Okay, cool.
And I have not had a chance to drop it in yet, but that is going to happen here really quick, because I'm in the process of building a new, actually building a pistol, AR-15.
Cool.
Which is I'm going to use it a lot. People say, why would you want a pistol AR-15? Why in the world? Well, one, I can have a 10-inch barrel.
Right.
And a 300 blackout. And a 300 blackout performs relatively well out of a 10, 12-inch barrel.
A shorter barrel, right, exactly.
Because it was actually designed for a 14-inch barrel. But the actual cartridge was only designed to, it burns every bit of powder and achieves all the velocity it's going to get in 14 inches or less.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I can have something that I can carry on my ATV that is not taking up a lot of room, that if I'm running traps or I'm doing things and I've got gear on my four-wheeler, I'm able to have a rifle and have that precision of a rifle. Now, I have 44 mag pistols, 357 mags. I've got plenty of pistols, and I shoot them fairly well. But I really have noticed on some of these hogs, you're going through a pasture and the hogs pop up.
Yep, you got to be quick. You got to be quick, yeah.
Not only you have to be quick, but I've got 30 rounds in my mag at my disposal.
Yep.
And I'm capable of having red dot sights or an ACOG or even something with like a 1 to 5 power.
Sure.
So I could crank it up to 5 power if I need to.
Yep.
You're just so much more versatile if you have a rifle calibered AR type pistol. And people say, oh, there's no use. Who needs one of those things? And I tell them, well, first off, my Second Amendment right has nothing to do with me needing a gun for hunting.
Right.
But if you're asking me what do I need it for, just about every one of my guns is one of two things. It is either a tool that I use in getting rid of hogs, or it is a tool I use in hunting deer, rabbit, squirrels, you name
Sure.
it. It's a tool. Or it is a tool that I use to go to the range and just shoot as many bullets as I can, as many cartridges as I can get out there and have fun.
Yeah.
So no matter what it is a tool. It is no less a tool than a screwdriver or a hammer or, I have lots of friends and family that love doing carpentry for fun.
Yep.
I like shoot guns for fun.
Yeah, that's right. I do too. I'm the same way.
Right. I don't want to go too over the top with that, but I do have people that ask me, since I build these kind of guns, why would you want one? Why would you build one? You don't need one. And the whole thing is a lot of older hunters and outdoorsmen have come at me and said things like, I've had the same 30-06 for, since 1947 and never needed an AR-15, and I'm like, well, hey, just a minute, why didn't you get a muzzle loader? Why didn't you get a flintlock?
Right.
Why didn't you cap and ball? I've taken probably close to 100 deer in my lifetime with various types of muzzle loading rifles, everything from an actual flintlock to the cap and ball and, right on up to the modern inline muzzle loaders. And truth be told, if it was only about going hunting, I can take a 50 caliber inline muzzle loader with a good quality optic on it, and I can kill a deer with that further than you can kill one with a 30-30 Winchester.
Sure. Yep. Well, especially with the powders and everything else, the pellets and everything that you can get for those inline muzzle loaders. I mean, they're darn near as good as a rifle in a lot of cases, aren't they?
Exactly. And people also come at me, these same people, and they're like, well, that's a military gun. Well, you know what? The Remington 700 that you're hunting with is a military gun.
That's a good point. Yeah,
Marine snipers,
the snipers use that one. Yeah.
That gun forever.
Yeah.
The M40 is a Remington 700 action.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm like, and as go back to the, Winchester Model 70, which was also a sniper rifle during the Vietnam era.
Yes, it was.
It is based on the Mauser action.
Yep.
That Mauser action was a military-style rifle. There's people that hunt with 303s, the old Lee Enfields.
I have one of those. I just picked one up.
Yeah. My dad, bless his heart, passed away now this last December. I have his first deer rifle, and it is a Mark III Lee Enfield in 303 British in my gun safe.
Mm-hmm.
I have an old I have an M1 Grand, which was, military. There's not a gun period that does not have its root base as a military weapon.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And I mean, that all being said, it's your right in our country to do, what you want. I mean, you have the choice and the freedom. I mean, thank God for that, to do, some different things. And to move into what I wanted to talk about next is hogs. I've killed hogs with all kinds of different means, short of throwing a rock, out of a blind. And the thing that I enjoy about guns, Jeff, and I think you agree with me because you own a lot of them like I do, is that it's different ways and means that you can take to challenge yourself and up your game on hunting for hogs, for instance, or deer, or whatever the case may be. Would you say that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a collector. On top of being a hunter and an outdoorsman and a shooting enthusiast, and a gunsmith and everything else that I like to do, anything that involves the outdoors, hunting gun. I'm also, I love the challenge of it, which that means trying to shoot a hog at 750 yards with I've got my favorite rifle that I use. I have a 257 Weatherby Magnum.
Ooh.
And this gun is tricked out and ready to rock and roll. And, I've literally, made 450 yard shots with this rifle on hogs, and on steel targets, I've made out to 600 yard shots if the wind wasn't blowing, because it is a light projectile, with this gun, with this rifle.
Right.
So
sure.
you can challenge yourself there. Now, I wouldn't ethically shoot at a deer or anything at 600 yards with this gun because of the lightness of the projectile.
Right.
It does, I shoot 120 grain projectile out of it. So, kinetic energy at a distance, you gotta be ethical with it.
Right. Sure.
But and I've got my 300 blackouts that 100, 150 yards, go to 220 grain bullets in that and shorten that distance up. Hits like a sledgehammer, but it's like swinging a pumpkin at something.
Yeah, like the sledgehammer or something. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's slow and fast, or slow and hard. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I have 44 Magnum lever action rifles and a 357 Magnum lever action rifle that I hog hunt with because of the challenge. That 357 mag, you're talking, 75 yards or less.
Right.
With that, almost bow hunting ranges with that. I have pistols. My 1911, I've taken so many hogs with that 1911 45. You're talking 20 yard or so shots. It's open sighted. This doesn't have any optics at all on it. And, last year I killed 4 or 5 hogs in one day with this 45. I had a rifle in the stand, but the hogs came in close enough, and I was like, let's try. This is a challenge. So, hog hunting, it opens up because hogs are a nuisance. Let's just face it; they're like rats and rodents.
Right.
They are an invasive species. They are a destructive species. They eat the food that our native species would eat. They eat snakes and things, and people may say, "Oh, that's a wonderful thing." It is to an extent,
right.
But whenever it's
taken, to extremes,
the snakes are a keystone species, and if you get rid of the snakes will feed on the toads and feed on the mice and feed on the vermin. Then those vermin and things like that take over, and there's no natural predator for them anymore. So there's lots of harm hogs do. So when we go out and we shoot hogs, and we're talking about eradicating, I may kill 150 hogs a year.
Right.
Then you're allowed to experiment and go out there with crossbows and recurve bows and longbows and, just any kind of anything, spears. And I've killed a few hogs with spears and, dogs and just use a knife,
right.
Let the dogs pull them up and things like that, And now I'm not about wounding any animal and torturing any animal. That
be ethical, right.
Against, so I want to dispatch that animal as quickly and as cleanly as possible, but you're still able to do that and still have fun and still experiment with new weapons and types of things. I honestly, honestly, I want an old flintlock pistol.
Like a brown bess or something? Or no, like a pistol. Okay, not a rifle. Okay, all right.
That's just like in Pirates of the Caribbean, the flintlock pistol.
The muzzleloader flintlock,
I have not killed a hog with a flintlock pistol.
I thought that would be cool too.
We're talking, probably 12, 10 yards on this thing, maximum distance.
Or you can get a blunderbuss, Jeff. You can get a blunderbuss and really reach out there and touch them, I'm just messing with you.
I really, I'm not beyond anything. Now, the only thing I do, now, honestly, and we may get some slack on this, I do not approve of at all, is the blowing hogs up with tannerite.
Yeah, I don't either. I think that's kind of cruel and unusual. And that brings me to the warfarin thing, which I wanted to talk to you about, which is kind of off the books right now, but they're looking at another poisoning way with sodium nitrite. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, sodium nitrate.
Yeah, so nitrate, yeah. And so it's one of those things where
nitrite,
I'm sorry, forgive me.
Nitrate is fertilizer.
Okay.
Just like what you can actually make explosives out of it. So, and it's also in chicken manure.
Right.
But the nitrite is what we put as a food preservative in things like
sausage and bacon and stuff like that, right? Curing agent, yeah.
And it's not poisonous to human beings, but it is deadly poisonous to hogs, and to the point that a hog eats it and dies in a very, very short amount of time.
Yeah. No, I heard that.
It's not as lethal to non-target species. Warfarin was such a bad idea. I teamed up with the Texas Hog Hunters Association, a couple of good friends of mine over there, and we sat down and we discussed this at length.
I know, and I want to put this podcast in their group because that's something I'm kind of buddies with Scott Dover, who founded that group, and I've met him and we talked a few times, and but just the reaction that the hog hunting community had towards it, that this is not the way. I mean, it was like politics, man. It was people that were on one side or the other and vehemently opposed to each other. I mean, it was bad when we dealt with that,
Well, it was so horrible because I got attacked because I was in the forefront and was on every show I could get on talking about warfarin and putting the facts out there. Mm-hmm. I don't ever talk about something when I'm ignorant of the subject.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
I try to educate myself before I open my mouth. And warfarin was just a bad deal. It had already been tried in Australia, and a tremendous amount of non-target species were killed from the use of warfarin. There were secondary, if a hog eats the warfarin and dies from the warfarin, and the coyotes eat the hog, and the buzzards eat the hog, and the eagles and the hawks and all of these things eat the hog, then they're going to die. All of these things are going to die. And if that hog walks onto my property, and I don't want warfarin on my property, and that hog ate the warfarin and then came to my property and died, well, according to the law they were trying to get passed, the landowner was supposed to be responsible for, recovering and burying hogs. Well, then I was going to have to give my adjoining landowners just free reign to come on my property anytime. It was just a bad deal.
Well, and it's just the way they pushed it through, and then the way that people reacted to it and everything. And you had a lot of people at our magazine that were for it against it. And I was just more worried, like Chester Moore, editor-in-chief, good friend of you and I both. He was basically just making the point on his radio show, More Outdoors, about, the half-life of this, of what eats it after it dies, because the way nature works is in cycles, obviously, and after something dies, something else comes, a turkey buzzard or whatever comes to eat it. It just goes, it's a cycle. It just goes on and on and on through nature, and how many other things are we going to kill off? And, so I agree with you, and you and I are very like-minded about that.
Well, and one of the things when I was speaking I actually visited with our agricultural commissioner's office at the time, not him personally, but with people in his office.
Sure.
Spoke with them at length about it, and I actually even spoke to the governor, actually talked to him personally about it. And I was one of the ones that put forth the, sodium nitrite as a possible usable control method.
Sure,
but
sure.
there needs to be an extensive, independent study done on any poison. Because when you open the door to putting a poison out into the wild, there is huge possible ramifications.
I was just going to say ramifications, exactly. Yeah.
So, we talked about it, and I'm like, you're talking about probably a 4 or 5 year minimum long study
Yeah.
Of this. And I said, the problem that I'm having is I'm not going to take the word of the company that wants to sell me the poison and think they did an impartial testing of the subject matter, and they are going to present us with the findings, and we're supposed to say, yeah, absolutely. No, sir, that's like a restaurant running its own health inspection.
Well, a lot of people that are on the side of people that are for warfarin or were for warfarin or are for sodium nitrate, they say to us hunters that want to go out and handle them the natural way, and I've heard a lot of ag people say barbecue our way out of the situation, if you'll excuse that term, but they say, well, if it's not warfarin, if it's not sodium nitrite, then what is it?
And there may not be any poison that you're going to be able to put out there for hogs. But what people don't understand is, a lot of times we're not going out there and shooting 2 or 3 hogs during deer season. We're hunting hogs year round. We've got traps out. Like I said, there's been the last few years, probably 150, 200 head of hogs. And I'm just one guy down here that's doing that. There are dozens of other guys in my area that are getting that many, if not more, hogs. There are the helicopter hog hunts, and we're talking about people go out and in a matter of a weekend kill 300, 400, 500 heads of hogs off property.
Yeah.
The problem we run into is landowners who claim that they are having a problem and claim that the hogs are just destroying their livelihood and everything else, don't want us as hunters on their property, or if they do want to allow us on their property, they want to charge us an enormous amount of money to come out there, but they only want you to kill 1 hog or 2 hogs.
Right.
You obviously don't have a problem if you want to charge me an exuberant amount of money and want to limit the number of hogs I can kill. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say, it's like if you go and hire an exterminator to come into your house because you're overrun with roaches, and you tell the exterminator you can only kill 2 roaches.
Right. Yeah, and I've brought this up on this show before with Chester Moore. That there's a particular ranch I have in mind, and everybody from Texas Hog Hunters Association's Facebook group knows what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to mention any names. If you Google hog hunting in Texas, you will see their Google ads. All right, I'll say that much. But they basically charge you by the pound, green weight, fully dressed, or not even dressed, fully loaded hog, to clean the dang thing. And you walk away from what should be $150 hunt, and you're paying $300, $400, $500 for a hog hunt. And they advertise that hogs are overrunning Texas. And I'm like, guys, you can't have it both ways. Like you said, you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's not fair to the unsuspecting hunter, and they fill their weekends every weekend. I'm pretty sure with their hunts. It ticks me off.
I had a guy that just met me. I was at Tractor Supply. If I can mention the name, I don't mean to advertise for anybody, but after the whole thing had blown up and everything, and I was in there, and he was buying a 5-gallon bucket full of rat poison, a certain brand of rat poison. And I was like, man, you must have chicken houses. And he said, no, I got a hog problem. And I said, what are you going to do with that rat poison? He said, man, you mix this 5-gallon bucket full of rat poison with a couple of 100 pounds of cracked corn and pour it out on the ground, and you can kill every hog on your place. And I'm like, you do know that that's highly illegal, right?
Oh, absolutely. And also look at the ramifications for wildlife. I mean, that we talked about that before, but gee whiz.
Well, because of what Sid Miller and them did by putting it out there, warfarin, they put it out there before they tested it, before they did anything with it. And then they turned around and let everybody know that it basically was rat poison. All of a sudden, it's just like, well, I'm not gonna tell you that, you can go out here and catch every catfish in East Texas out of this 2-acre pond over here that weighs 25 pounds, and it's down Farm Road 699, 2.5 miles,
right.
Turn to the left.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't telling you to go out there and catch any fish.
Right. Yep.
And that's kind of what they did. So they let everybody and their brother know what they could do to poison these hogs. But now it's illegal. Well, you got 1,500 acres or even 200 acres. Who's out there on your property testing your corn? Nobody. Unless the game warden gets a call that you've killed an illegal animal, they're not coming onto your property harassing you. We've got 2 game wardens to patrol a county that's, as big as some states,
sure.
Big as Rhode Island.
Right.
So nobody's going to come on your property without probable cause. And, it's just one of those things where it's like Pandora's box. We may have opened it.
Yeah.
We had one hog just 2 miles from my home here. The gentleman called me. He shot it in his yard and called me and said, "You got to come see this." I've never seen anything like this in my life. And this was last year. And I got to his house, and he had hung the hog up and started skinning it, and it was blue. The fat was blue. It's the one thing that does that, and that's warfarin.
Yeah.
So somebody had been poisoning hogs.
Yeah.
And, I called our game warden and told him what I found and everything, took pictures of it. And, and he's like, what do you want me to come do? Basically,
yeah,
how would
game animal. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. If it's deer is another story.
That hog could have ate that poison a week ago on a property 10 miles from there.
Right. True.
No way for them to know. So, that's one of the things with hog hunting is here's what I think the state ought to do. I think the state ought to put a bounty on hogs. Tails, ears whatever they need to do in order for you to turn it in to get your bounty. I think they ought to put a $5 per tail bounty on hogs.
You could stack them up pretty quick if you're shooting them out of a helicopter, or one of the things I wanted to bring up is Lone Star Boars has a YouTube channel. Todd Huey Outdoors, give him a shout out. He posts a lot in the Texas Hog Hunters Association group, and I'm a part of his. I watch his YouTube notifications come through. He's always posting videos and is starting to do this kind of professionally now. And he did a I think it was up in Lubbock or somewhere in the Panhandle. He did a hog hunt eradication run with these guys that basically went on 4-wheelers at night with night vision stuff. And basically, it was like a helicopter, but it was on ground. They basically went up to the hogs as they were running and just shot them, I don't know the best way to say it, but I don't want to say drive-by style, but basically as they're running, shot them on the side, as they're running parallel to them. And it was highly effective as far as getting that done.
Suppressor.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Subsonic 300 blackout with suppressors and night vision optics, and literally shot an entire sounder of hogs.
Wow.
35, 40 hogs out of a pasture. They did not, it was such a quiet report of the rifle. The bullet hitting the hog was louder
than the rifle going off. Yeah.
And if you got headshots, the hogs didn't squeal.
Right.
The others didn't run.
And if they
didn't run 20, 30 yards, and they stopped again. And you just kept walking up and popping, and you killed the entire sounder of hogs.
Right.
And then you just kept walking. You left them there. You didn't mess with them. You left them there, and you kept walking and easing through these fields. And, you know, we've killed just literally in one night 50, 60 hogs in some places doing this with suppressors and with subsonic ammunition.
Right.
That way it was quiet. And, you know, like I'm saying, if the state would impose a bounty on these things,
yeah, it'd be worth it, I'd say. Yeah,
I would invest. I could afford to invest in a very nice thermal optic.
Yeah, which are not cheap. And you know, you say that one of the guys that that I work with, that I got my start in this industry with, Mac and Prowler, Bill Henson and Randy McMillan up in Texarkana, they are actually paid a very modest sum to go and eradicate hogs on 5 ranches that are all connected to each other. And so they go out darn near every other night and basically go out there and start whacking pigs with, you know, suppressors and you know, just quiet guns and ammo and just you know, their whole, and they use pulsar night vision, and I'm pretty sure, and you know, but they say it's not a lot of money, but he said it covers our fuel and it covers our bullets or our pellets or whatever they're using.
You know, just like if you did, so like I said, you know, minimum, you know, $5 a tail or whatever. You go out and kill 10 hogs tonight. Well, that's $50. You at least can recoup the price of your ammunition and your fuel.
Yep, exactly. That's the point I was making there, Jeff. Yeah.
But, you know, turn right around and somebody like me or the guys that I know, well, if we had a chance to, if I went, we all have to, you know, talk to our wives. And if I go to my wife and I say, Sharon, I want to buy this new thermal optic for my AR-15. Now, this thermal optic is going to cost me $2,500.
Right.
But last year, I killed 150 hogs, and if the state gives me $5 per head, per tail, per whatever, I shoot these hogs, I can recoup the lion's share of that investment.
Right.
Because if I get another 150 head this year or more, which if I get this optic, I have the opportunity to double that now.
Right.
To probably pay for this optic and put money in our pockets. You know, once this optic is paid for, I'll always have it, and I'll be able to just keep stacking them up.
Yep.
And so, you know, as hunters, we're going to get out there, and it's fun, for one. We're going to get out there and have fun. 2, we're going to help the landowners.
Yep.
3, we're going to be able to buy better equipment and upgrade and blah, blah, blah. And we're going to just keep doing better and doing better and doing better. And we're going to keep these hogs. Because what people don't realize, I had to draw this out in a wildlife class that I was teaching. One single sow can be the matriarch of about 2,000 pigs in a year's time.
Okay, I was going to say through the lifetime, but you're right, because they basically breed like rabbits. I mean, that goes without saying. We talked about that on the show before.
One hog will have, I've seen litters as big as 19 piglets living in a litter from a wild hog.
Golly.
And that's going to be about a 50-50, but your average litter, you're looking at about 12 piglets.
Right.
So 50-50, that's 6. So she has 6 at 6 months of age.
Right.
Then the 6 females that she just had, 6, all the way down, and you start pyramiding that.
It's like compound interest at the bank, kind of. You know, one thing, it's like a snowball effect, if you will. Yeah.
And at some point in time, and not the first year, but at some point in time, in a 1-year span, her and her offspring will give birth to over 2,000 pigs.
Golly. I never did the math like that.
That's one sow.
Right.
It's one sow.
And they all breed. Yeah, that's exactly. Well, and the other thing I wanted to talk about before we run out of time is just that hunting them and just upping your game and your challenge to yourself and playing the game to win, to up your game to hunt them. But also I don't think that that hunting is, I think more people should get involved with hunting. The one thing that we have issues with is something you talked about before the show, is that landowners, and we talk about this a lot on Texas Hog Hunters Association group. It's been brought up before. Why don't landowners let you go out for free? Well, the main reason is liability. They don't want you getting hurt and suing them on their land. So they need, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like I say, with offering, hey, I'm overrun with hogs, but you got to pay $300 to shoot one. That's not a good plan.
I had a landowner recently contact me, and he said, I bought a brand new tractor, and I just did $1,500 worth of repair work to my tractor and my hay baler because the hogs had rooted it up, and I drove my tractor into this ravine that the hogs rooted it, and the rains washed it.
Oh,
blah, blah,
no.
blah. And I was like, oh, my goodness. And he's like, can you help me? Can you come kill some hogs?
Right.
And I said, yes, sir. I can come kill some hogs on your place. He said, what will you charge me? And I said, well, I know that you don't allow anybody to deer hunt on your property.
Right.
Because you got cows. I said, what if I come out there and I get these hogs for you, and if you're pleased with what I do with these hogs, you let me come out there and do some bow hunting on your place.
Right. Which shouldn't bother the cows at all. Right.
Not even gun hunting.
Right.
Just bow hunting on your place. And he said, you know what, son? He said, I don't think I'd have a problem with you coming out here and doing that. So I went and traded this landowner, me going out there for weeks and weeks and weeks, putting out hundreds of dollars worth of corn,
sure,
traps, hunting, bullets, all these things. And all I'm getting out of it is next deer season, I'm going to get to go out there and put me up a stand, find me some scrapes and some rubs, and put up a stand with the possibility, especially here where I'm from, where bow hunting is a very low percentage hunt. I may get to see a deer. I may get a shot at an old doe or something like that. Probably not going to kill anything worth killing, but I'm going to get to go enjoy hunting.
Yeah.
Turn right around, and I also had a guy that contacted me around that same time that said, hey, I know you write for Texas Fish and Game. He said, why don't you come out here and go on a hog hunt on my place? I am eat up with hogs. I mean, they are just tearing my place to pieces. Won't you come out here and hunt and then write a story about it or whatever? And I said, well, yeah. I said, I'll come out there and kill your hogs for you. How many hogs you got out there? Oh, we just tore up with them. I said, well, I'll come out there and run about a 2-week trap line and hunt and everything else, and I'll see how many I can kill. Oh, no. I want you to come out here. You can kill 2 hogs, one trophy hog and one meat hog, and that's all you can kill. And I said, well, wait a minute, Mr. So I thought you just told me you had a problem and these hogs were tearing your place to pieces. Well, I do, but I get $250 a day for somebody to come out here and hunt these hogs.
And you're not going to shoot your way out of that situation 2 hunters at a time unless they're killing mass numbers, and you and I both know that.
And it just blows my mind that the same people that claim to be in dire straits with these hogs, they're tearing their crop fields up. They're uprooting their freshly planted seeds. They're just destroying everything that they've got, hay meadows and everything else, but they don't want you on their place. Now, I'm not talking about a bunch of drunks coming out there drinking beer and shooting the countryside up. I'm talking about reputable people that can give you references that you can contact, you can call and talk to them and everything else. Reputable operations that can come out there and come in your place, but they don't want you on there. So my answer to them is when they do that is then apparently you don't have a problem.
Right, you don't have a hog problem then, obviously. No, and that's exactly right, Jeff. It ticks me off that, it's just you can't have it both ways. You can't just limit your hog hunts and then charge good money for them and do the trophy hog and a meat hog. And again, this is, and I work with a high fence ranch. I do PR marketing for a high fence ranch that does hog hunts, but and we get a lot of hog hunters that come through there. The hunts are $150, but it's a high fence place, and it's one of those things where I don't feel that we're dishonoring anything or anybody, because in a way we're helping with the solution to taking the hogs out. But we don't charge a mint for them either. You're not going to get a $900 hog hunt, like you will from some of these places after you get done skinning your game. I'm sorry, they get done skinning your game and quartering it up for you and put it in your ice chest, because that's a ripoff. And for companies like that and ranchers to say, well, I'll do this, that, and the other, and I'll go out and skin your hogs and everything, and you got to pay $2 a pound, is a ripoff in my humble opinion, and that's not the solution to the problem. That's my humble opinion, though.
I was actually asked to leave a ranch a few years ago because they were charging to skin the hogs and quarter the hogs and everything, because I told all the guys that we were down there with that I'd skin all their hogs and quarter them for them for free if they didn't want to do it.
Yeah, sure.
Some of these people were elderly hunters. Some of them were veterans that I respected, brothers in arms, and some of them were ladies that were there. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm probably one of the best hog skinners there is in East Texas. I said, I can skin a hog in just a matter of minutes, have it quartered up and put in the ice chest. And they all were like, well, yeah, thank you. Well, after it was all said and done, whenever we were leaving, shaking hands, the owner of the ranch basically told me he didn't want me back on his place because I had taken money away from him.
Out of his pocket, yeah.
For skinning the hogs. And I basically turned around and said, well, I mean, you were ripping people off in the first place, charging them the amount you were charging them. I don't mind paying somebody if they're going to skin my hog.
Yeah, but don't rip them off. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, we do the same thing at the ranch. A lot of people don't even want to touch the things after they shoot them, and that's great. But don't rip people off, and that's what ticks me off about these ranches that do this, because you end up paying way more than your hog is really worth in Texas, or elsewhere.
Exactly. One of the best places I hunted was out in Sabinal, Texas. And one of the owner of the ranch, I got to know him a little bit and was invited out there to come and bow hunt. It's a bow hunting only ranch, no rifles allowed on the place. And I went out there, and it was, for a hog hunt, it was like $150 for the weekend. This has been a lot of years ago.
Yeah.
And you could use the bunkhouse, had to bring your own bedding and your own food. Mm-hmm. But they had a bunkhouse with heating and air conditioning and every TV, everything in it. And we went out there, and it was a high-fenced operation. This man had 10,000 acres.
Wow.
And until this point in time, I had been the reason I got to go hunt there is I was against high fencing. I'd never hunted on a high-fence ranch, but, boy, I was against high fencing, and I was writing about it and really ripping into landowners that had high fence and people that hunted on high fenced operations. And this guy basically said, you know what, come out here and hunt on my place and then tell me what you think afterwards. Mm-hmm. So I accepted. I went out there, and literally I could have walked for 2 days in any direction and not found the fence. Mm-hmm. Of course, there were roads that went by the fences, but literally, if you got dropped off in the middle of this ranch, you would never find a fence.
Right. You'd be walking for days. Yeah.
These deer and hogs and javelina were just as wild on this place as they were on the low fence place next door to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I actually had a 300-acre lease that was about 10 miles down the road from it, that a friend of mine and I hunted on for quite a few years there. So I knew how the deer and hogs acted on our open fenced 300 acres.
Right.
So I went and hunted there, and I killed a couple of hogs, and the place was excellent, courteous. They treated you like a member of their family.
Sure.
Big huge pond. Whenever you were through, if you kill both your hogs or whatever in one day, you could fish the next 2 days in the pond.
Right.
And they 8-10-pound bass in this big, and it was like a 10-acre pond.
Wow.
It was like a small lake. But what I'm saying, this place, the guy was doing it right, and as far as high fenced operation, it really changed my mind.
Yeah.
Now, I'm totally against these other places. I went to another place that had 40 acres under a high fence, and there's just no way on earth that a deer can get away from you on 40
it's
acres.
like a zoo. Yeah, I get that.
You know, so I was totally against that place. But when you've got thousands of acres, those animals inside of that place, if you manage it properly, they have no idea they're inside of the fence.
Right. Now, and that's true. I mean, the ranch I work for, so densely wooded. I mean, you basically it was dropped in the middle, and you can't find a fence. I mean, it's one of those things, and it takes a while to get your bearings because it's so thickly wooded. And I've been lost on there before because not really hopelessly lost, but I mean, it's really wooded and it's easy to get turned around. But I mean, I'm not against high fence operations for a lot of reasons, but I mean, that's the way. Look at South Texas. I mean, that's completely started to all go high fence. Not all of it, but it's certainly going that way. But anyway, it's just there are people that do it the right way and the wrong way, and I think the way you and I have talked about, we've talked about both of the differences before about both, and I think that's educated folks.
Yeah, and I like to use my property that I have here in Panola County as an example. I have been managing this property for over 20 years. I have used my own brand of management on this property. It's totally low fence. No fence, actually. There's not even a barbed wire fence running around it in a lot of places. So I've killed 150-inch
Mm-hmm.
deer. There's been about 3 150-inch deer that I've killed off of this place.
Wow.
Couple of 140s, lots. If you kill I put it like this: if you see a 120-inch deer on this place, you better be pulling the trigger.
You better shoot it, yeah.
This is Panola County, northeast Texas. There's just not huge. I mean, there are a few old bucks here, but most of the time they're not. But what gets me is I've got people all around me that operate on the premise of if it's brown, it's down.
Right. Yep.
Kind of thing. I have literally sat on my stand, and I don't hunt fence lines. My neighbors, they like to stack their stands up on my fence line. I never hunt a fence line knowing that, I'm going to shoot a deer on a neighbor's property.
Right.
But, these people, I've watched little 8-point bucks that are 2 years old come by with a 14-inch rack.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the 13-inch rule here in Panola County. So I've watched this deer, and I watch him every single day. He comes out and eats and does his thing. Let him go because, a couple of years, he's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
And I don't begrudge anybody killing whatever they want to kill for meat or for whatever. I don't really do that. But the thing that kills me is this little deer that I've been letting go, and he heads toward the property line, and he's gone from my stand for 15 minutes, and then you hear boom. Well, he doesn't show up anymore.
Yeah, he's gone.
Well, 2 weeks later, you're back there hunting, and there's a spike that walks out, and we've got our spike rule, which I totally disagree with, because if I'm going to kill a buck, I put it like this: if you're going to kill an illegal buck or a buck that's whatever legal but has whatever, why should I have to let a 1.5-year-old 4-point go, but I can kill a 1.5-year-old spike because there's still that in 5 years could be trophy bucks. The once a spike, always a spike rule has been blown out of the water for decades.
Right. Yep. No, that's true.
You know, and even letting us kill nubbin bucks as antlerless deer.
Right.
You're still killing a buck that could be whatever. But I watch these little deer walk by, and the neighbors are killing them. Mm-hmm. And whenever I think about that, you know, I'm like, boy, if I had the money, I'd put a high fence up.
Yeah, to stop
For the simple fact, I spend literally thousands of dollars a year in feeders, feed. I don't just put a sack of corn out and, you know, try to bring in a couple of those.
Right.
You know, I'm feeding protein.
Yeah.
I'm feeding things that these deer need, mineral blocks. I have, like right now, we have water troughs.
Yep.
On the
Yep.
that, you know, we go down there with those big totes that you can buy that had paint and things like that in them. We buy the ones that had like vegetable oil and things in them. They hold 500 gallons of water.
Wow.
And we'll put 7 or 8 of those on a 16-foot trailer and fill them all up with water, and we'll go down and during drought times and we'll fill up those troughs.
Nice, that
down
water.
there.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. My neighbors aren't doing any of that. My neighbors, they go out at, you know, a week before season and pour a sack of corn on the ground and
it's done. Yeah.
back up there and hunt over it.
Right.
And they're reaping the rewards of my game management.
And you're managing it the right way. Yeah, it's not really fair for sure. So
exactly. So whenever people talk to me about high fence, I have a totally different view of high fence today than I had 15 years ago.
Sure. I get that. Yeah, I get that for sure.
I have evolved, and as hunters, we have to evolve. We can't stay stagnant on our views.
Yes.
And I know you've noticed probably as much as I have. You can't go onto a hunting website, a hunting forum, web page, anything, and show a picture, because the minute you show a picture, somebody's putting you down for what you killed.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's gotten bad. Yep.
You can't do anything that there's not somebody. You know, I look at it like this. If I see somebody post a picture and it's a deer that I wouldn't have killed, I keep my mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they did something illegal.
Right.
Now, if they did something illegal, of course I'm going to say something. Or unethical. But if somebody went out there and killed a deer, legally harvested it on his property, on whatever, you know, it's totally legal in the area that they hunt in, and this, all of a sudden, the other, I don't begrudge them that. Just don't shoot it on my property.
Right.
You know, I mean, don't shoot over my fence and then drag it home. But if it's on your property, I don't have a right to say a word as long as it's legal.
Right. No, I agree with you.
People, they just, I mean, I've even seen them go after little kids on these
I have too.
sites and stuff. And I try to tell them, you know, one day I was like, you know, guys, we have enough problems with the anti-hunting community, PETA, whatever, you know, who else, just so many antis out there coming at us. We can't afford to do this. And I wrote an article for Texas Fish and Game, one of the first articles I wrote, and it was called United We Fall.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
And that was what it was about.
Right.
You know, and we're all hunters, but boy, we will turn on each other in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And we will run each other into the dirt, and we'll tell each other, oh, you're not a real hunter because you hunt with a gun that'll shoot 600 yards.
Right.
I hunt with a 30-30, or you hunt with a crossbow, so you're not a true bow hunter. Or you hunt with a compound and you use sights. That's not skill.
That's training wheels, as they say. Yeah.
I mean, I get that all the time, and you know, bless her heart, we have to keep policing ourselves. We don't need to stop doing that.
I agree.
But
can't we all just get along?
Well, it's just the fact that there's a tactful way to say, you know, buddy, that's a great deer. That's a really great deer, and I am very proud of you. But now that you've got that 4-pointer, next year Are you going after a 6 or an 8? Are you going to keep trying to get better?
Right.
You know, or what?
Better.
Or are you just after meat?
Yeah.
Well, if the guy says, I don't care about horns, I'm just after meat, then I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to belittle him or berate him.
You're not going to engage.
I'm going to try to constructively give some advice, but if they're not receptive to it, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to start a Facebook war, keyboard commando type.
Yep.
Let me strap my keyboard on over here.
That's right.
Kind of thing. Yeah,
That's right.
I just, and I'm as guilty as anybody in my younger days.
Sure.
I didn't care if a deer was 18 months, 2.5 years, 5 years old. I didn't care. I didn't look. If it was a legal deer, I put a bullet through his pump house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a good point.
But I grew, and I matured, and I learned.
Right.
And that's what we've all got to do. And we've got to allow our fellow hunters, unless it's just something just blatantly unethical or illegal, but we've got to allow our young hunters to be guided and influenced by positive reinforcement.
Yep, I agree wholeheartely.
Instead of telling them they're stupid and they're idiots and they're morons, well, guess what? That kid's probably never going to come back to that website, that outdoor page.
Or he's not going to. This experience like that almost stopped me from hunting when I was just starting out in my early 20s, and I'll never forget that. And it's just one of those things. And we're about at an hour, Jeff, so I think we better wrap it up.
Okay.
You've been great, an awesome guest, and this is a great thing to wrap up on, because my whole thing about the outdoors is that already there's a decline in hunting, year over year, and it's one of those things where we need to unite and take care of each other and support each other and unite together as a group of hunters, and that's something I know you and I very much agree on.
Very much so, adamantly.
I think that's great. Tell people how they can find you, or and about your knives as well, please.
Oh man, I can be found on Facebook and Instagram. Jeff Crypto Hulk Stewart.
I love that.
At fishgame.com. You can look around there and find my blogs and things.
Mm-hmm.
Good gosh. And my knives can be found on Facebook at Alpha Dog Blades.
Alpha Dog Blades. Okay, cool.
And I build everything from Viking battle axes, authentic Viking battle axes, Bowie knives, skinning knives, daggers, kitchen knives. One of my biggest sellers are chef's knives.
Cool.
That I make out of W6 tool steel.
Mm-hmm.
And little 1095, just a lot of reclaimed spring steel from all kinds of trucks and cars. If it's high carbon spring steel, I'm reclaiming it. I go to old sawmills that are abandoned and buy the blades from the sawmills that no longer run, and
wow.
blades that are busted and broke, and I bring those back. And I have got some saw blades that if you get a knife from me, the knife steel is well over 100 years old.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible.
I have a forge, and I have a 200-year-old anvil.
Wow.
That picked up from a relative that just had it laying around as a ornament in the flower garden. And this anvil came from England over 200 years ago.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I've built my own forge and propane forge, and I bang steel and make knives and hammers, and like I said, Viking battle axes. I'm finishing one of those up right now. I got the handle and stuff mounted in pins, and it's all epoxying right now.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, thanks so much, Jeff. It's a very spirited conversation. You and I are very like-minded about these issues, and I'm just so happy to have you back on the show, man.
It was my pleasure. As usual, I enjoy talking to you. Just doesn't matter if it's on the show or just us talking.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeff Stewart. from Texas Fish and Game, fishgame.com, as well as our blog, and as well as Alpha Dog Knives, and just or Alpha Dog Blades, I should say. Anyway, really great guy. Enjoy having him on, and just look forward to, because man, after we got done recording this one, we just talked for like another 30 minutes. I mean, him and I hit it off, and we just go for it. So him and I both like to talk a lot. So anyway, thank you guys so much again for watching, reading, and listening. Please subscribe to our newsletters, as I talked to at the beginning of the show. They are free to get every 3 days a week. So you get Tactical and Practical Tuesday, you get Wildlife Wednesday, and you get Thursday, the Texas State at the Outdoor Nation. And those all delivered to your email box. All you have to do is sign up, and I think the sidebar fishgame.com has the sign-up link where you can sign up for the newsletters. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it's a great way to stay plugged into our content. Many of you guys already do that, and I thank you guys for doing that. And I just want to personally say, guys, I've been banging out some stuff on Facebook lately, some videos that I've been doing, just on the spot, Facebook Live style videos. That I've been doing, and I'm really trying to bring to you guys the inspiration and the hopefulness of what we do in the Texas outdoor lifestyle as the outdoor success guy, and I just hope you guys see that. I talked about last summer. I remember this episode I did still about a year ago, where I talked about Rick Warren. He's the author of The Purpose-Driven Life, which is a fantastic Christian book. But one of his famous quotes is, "The purpose of influence is to help those who have none." And that stuck with me and still sticks with me today, because one of the things that I try to do in my work in the outdoors is be a conservationist and make sure that what we have is preserved for our future hunting and fishing generations and outdoorsmen and women. But also, I'm here to advocate for anybody that needs advocating, when it comes to the outdoors, to the Texas outdoor lifestyle, for helping you be successful in the outdoors, whatever the case may be. I'm an open book when it comes to helping with that. So if you have a desire to do anything crazy in the outdoors, like gain a pro staff position, or any kind of success-based stuff, I will help you with that personally. And you can reach out to me at dustinsprojects.com, which is my personal website. It has a kind of a hub of all of my stuff I do, and really look forward to connecting with some of you guys. If you like the podcast, please leave a 5-star rating on iTunes. That would be a huge deal for us. If you want to even stop the player right now, or your podcast player, wherever you're listening to this, and go rate the show, that would mean the world to me, because that helps more people find the show. And of course, we're a Texas-based show because we're based in Texas Fish and Game, but we're really all over the place. People from all over the world listen, and it's just kind of funny, that some of the stuff that I speak about, wild hog poisoning and all this other stuff, the big debate and stuff like that, gets out as far as it does. But it certainly bends the world's ear, I should say, when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I think it's cool. So I just really appreciate you guys if y'all leave us a positive 5-star rating on Stitcher, or on Google Podcast, or Apple Podcast, or iTunes, wherever you found the show. Leave us a review. Podbean's another place. Leave us a comment. Contact me on social media. My last name is spelled Warncke. My Facebook profile is public, so you can easily reach out to me even if we're not friends. You can friend request me. I will accept, and we will talk that way. And I've connected with a whole bunch of you guys like that, man. And it just really, really, really makes my socks go up and down that you guys care about the show and care about me and care about what we're doing in the Texas Outdoor Nation and everything that we've got going on here. So anyway, thank you guys again. I know I say this a lot. Thank you guys again for watching, reading, and listening. Have an awesome day in the outdoors. We'll see you next time.